everybody. Welcome to episode number 85 of Driftless Knitting. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter. You can find the podcast on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the Groups tab. We have a knit along going on right now called I think it's the Driftless Shawl Cal. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but if you are participating, don't forget to go in there and post your yarn that you're using, your project progress, and comment on anybody else's projects that are being posted. There's only one thread, so no matter if you're finished or not, you still get entered into a prize drawing. Participation is all I'm asking for this. So yeah, I'll give you a few more details later on in the podcast about that knit along, but please go and check that out on Ravelry. I'm coming to you today from, what's the date today? It is the 21st of October, 2019, and it is a chilly fall day. It's raining. I'm pretty sure it's gonna rain until maybe this afternoon or this evening. And it's actually not too cold. It's probably in the mid-50s right now, which for fall time is pretty good. I even have my sliding door open a little bit because it was getting a little bit too stuffy in here, and yeah, I like fresh air. I'm definitely a cold weather person, so anything above like 70 degrees in my house, I'm like, and we don't even have the heat on right now. Our apartment is very insulated within other apartments, and so our building stays really warm. Yeah, it was just getting a little too warm in here for me, so I'm letting in some fresh air. I'm drinking a cup of coffee in my kind of hilarious Superior Wizards Drink Tea mug that my friend Amanda gave me. And I hardly ever drink tea except for on cold nights or if I'm sick. So yeah, I'm drinking coffee out of it, so I'm not a superior wizard, I suppose, but that's okay. And I also have I have some fall decorations out right now, which make me so happy. And I put together this little tableau because I had my candle lit and it was so pretty. So I put out a few of my fabric pumpkins. So yeah, it's very, very autumnal. I guess first and foremost, I should say a very big welcome to anyone who is watching this podcast for the first time. Hello. I am so happy that you're here. I've had a couple new subscribers lately, which I'm assuming is because Christy and Tristan of Girls in the Yarn Cafe podcast gave me a really sweet shout out the other day on their new episode. Because Tristan is actually coming to Knit Circus in Madison, Wisconsin, which is where I work, and we're doing a trunk show. We're doing a really fun weekend of knit nights, and she's going to give a talk on the Saturday. It's the second weekend in November, so I think that Saturday is the 9th of November, and she's going to give a talk about her inspiration and her designing and kind of how she got started and things like that, which is going to be really interesting and fun. And then we're going to have a knit night on Saturday. Still kind of getting some details together for the rest of the weekend, but it's going to be a good time. So they were kind of talking about that. And then of course, because I'm organizing it, they gave me and my podcast a sweet shout out. So thank you guys. I met them in August at Stitches Midwest in Chicago, and they're so sweet and so fun to be around and easy to talk to. I think I talked about this because I did podcast after that, surprisingly, because my schedule was so sporadic over the summer, but I did podcast after that, and I think I talked about how I was supposed to leave an hour before I did, and we just kept talking, and I was like, okay, I need to go now, but we just kept talking. Yeah, so they're just really fun to be around. And there's the garbage trucks. Do you remember when I used to podcast on Mondays all the time because it was my regular consistent day off, and the garbage trucks always come on Monday. So yeah, have a Monday off, which is really exciting and fun because we had our Madtown shop hop over the weekend and I worked, so I'm taking some comp time today. But that was a really fun event, and if any of you were out doing some shopping and some hopping around Madison, thank you so much for coming in and stopping by and getting some beautiful yarn. We really appreciate your participation, and this was the best shop hop we've ever had. It was the third one. It was the best one so far, and it's just going to keep getting better. So for all of you who could not go to Rhinebeck like me, and you were having some serious envy, the shop hop was at least a little bit of a consolation. I am wearing my New York Sheep and Wool Festival sweatshirt. This is from, as you can see there, from 2015. That is the one and only year I've been to Rhinebeck, and I will get back. I will get back eventually, I promise, but not this year. So it looked like so much fun, and yeah, if I didn't have this event scheduled with Tristan coming up in a couple weeks, I would be a lot more sad that I missed out on all of the gatherings and the meetups and everything. I am sad because obviously I'm not going to meet as many people as I would at Rhinebeck, but to have Tristan coming and hanging out and just having a fun weekend with nitty friends and people, it's going to be a blast. So you can sign up for Tristan's talk. I'm kind of circling back to that for Tristan's talk at Knit Circus at www.knitcircus.com. Go to the classes tab at the top of or the main bar of the homepage. Hit classes. It will direct you to, I think you have to scroll down and hit another link. It'll direct you to a list of classes, and she's on there. So you'll see her picture and everything. It's pretty obvious. And you can also stop into the store or call and sign up for that over the phone or in person. But it's going to be fun. It's only $20. It includes, we're going to have like a pizza party afterwards, so it includes that. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. So, yay. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, so I was saying, scatterbrained, I was saying welcome to all of my new subscribers. There are a few of you, and I'm really glad that you decided to come and check out the podcast. If you are a returning viewer, it's so good to see you again, and I'm really glad that you are here. I have a few things to talk about today, and aren't you so proud of me that I am back after only 2 weeks? It's almost like a normal schedule. What is this? It's crazy. Maybe, hopefully I can keep it up. We'll see. But it just feels so good to not have so much to catch up on, and hopefully this won't be like a super long podcast. Last time it wasn't that bad. It was over an hour, but I thought it was going to be way longer than that, and I managed to squeak it in like an hour 15 or something, but this one should be a little bit shorter. Yeah, so I guess let's jump into some works in progress. We'll talk about those. I don't have any finished objects today. The trucks are almost gone, I swear. I do have some works in progress. I have a couple things to show you that I picked up over the last 2 weeks, not too much. And then we'll talk about the knit along. So let's get going. Okay, the first finished object, work in progress, is one that I've been working on a lot over the past 2 weeks. I did show this to you. I had it started last podcast episode, but I did get a lot of knitting done. I had a couple of nights where my husband was, he works part-time for his family on his family's farm. So, you know, when he's on the weekends, he works a full-time job as well. So on the weekends, he'll go back to his parents' farm. And sometimes if I don't go with him, I have some nights to myself and some days to myself, and days off. So I got so much knitting in my last set of days off. And then on Friday when he was at the farm, I think I knit like I knit like a crazy person. But anyway, this is the sweater for my nephew that I'm knitting for his Christmas present. I think last time I don't think I'd even separated for sleeves when I podcasted the last time. But now I have almost an entire sleeve finished, as well as the body. And this is, I'm not going to say it right, so I'm just going to put the title of the pattern down below. It's a French name, I'm pretty sure. It's like petite something. The pattern calls for you to do like a striping effect, which is why it has these like texture stripes, and then in between is supposed to be a different color. But I just wanted to do it out of one solid color. I think he's gonna look so handsome in this. I have a few more, I can't remember, I have maybe an inch or so to go on the sleeve here, and then some ribbing, so I'm pretty close to being done with this sleeve. Hopefully finish that today. And then just one more sleeve to go, and yeah, just weaving in ends. There's no really finishing, no seaming, no picking up. I've already done the collar and everything. Yeah, so I've enjoyed knitting this. It's really mindless once you get the pattern counts. The texture pattern itself is not difficult, but once you get the counts down, it's a little bit easier. She gives you this like faux seam on the side. It's like, you can't really see it on the camera, but once it's blocked out, I think you will be able to see it a little bit more. It's like a pearl bump there in between the stockinette stitches, or in between the textured stitches, and you kind of have to line up your texture with that pearl bump. And I don't think I had the right number of stitches, but for some reason my count was off on the chart pattern, so you have to just read your knitting. Once you get, especially with the increases too on the raglan, they don't actually like make the chart so that it includes like the raglan increases. You just, like she says in the pattern, like you're just gonna have to read your knitting, like make sure it lines up and just like knit the pattern. So I just sort of winged it. Winged it. That sounds really weird in the past tense, but I decided to wing it because I knew what it was supposed to look like, and I wasn't really too concerned if it was like a tiny bit off sometimes in the raglan. Yeah, I just made sure that it lined up with what I had done before in the previous like textured area. So yeah, really mindless, really fun. I'm knitting it out of Barocco Ultra Wool Fine. There we go. Sorry, there's a glare. My light is very bright on my phone. So Ultra Wool Fine. This is a fingering weight. It is 100% superwash wool. It's not a merino wool, so it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a superwash merino, but it is so fuzzy and soft. It has a little bit of a woolly texture, but it's still like next to skin soft. And I think it's gonna soften up even more when I block it. So that's really, really awesome. I love having like a woolier superwash wool to work with, and Ultra Wool Fine, this is so reasonably priced. I only had to get 2 skeins. You can see how much I have left. This is the second skein. I am pulling from the inside, so it's a little bit deceiving about how much I have left, but I'm almost done with the first sleeve. I only have the second sleeve to go. I'm gonna have more than half of this left over. And this was only $13 for one of these. And it has, how much yardage? 400 yards, 100 grams. Yeah, so that's like half the price of a like indie dyed skein of yarn, or more than half the price in some cases. So for him, for kind of an everyday sweater, I want him to get a lot of good wear out of this, but of course he's gonna grow out of it. Yeah, this is like the perfect yarn. I would knit myself a sweater in this in a heartbeat. Actually, I like have plans. to knit a sweater for myself. They also have DK weight, and they have worsted weight, which was the original Ultra Wool. So really awesome, really great alternative if you want to knit garments. Highly recommend. It's better than Cascade. 100 times better than Cascade. And yeah, I like the Barocco yarn a lot. This doesn't, I don't think it has a color name, but it does have a color number if you're curious. The color number is 53158. So it's like a heathery green, like forest green tweed. Not tweed. Like, it's like heathered. So really, really cute. And yeah, I'm really hoping to have this done by the end of October. I have one more like small child's garment to knit for, this is a Christmas present. I don't know if I said that, but it's a Christmas present. Feels really good to be this far along with his Christmas sweater. And I have one more 3.5-year-old's sweater to knit for Christmas. And then a couple accessories maybe to knit for Christmas, but those are the two biggest projects that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna knit my sister something and my mom something probably, maybe my husband if I have the time, maybe my mother-in-law. So that's my list so far. It doesn't feel like too overwhelming, but once November hits and Halloween is over, I don't know, I feel like I'm suddenly aware of the fact that I have about 2 months to knit Christmas things, and I don't want to be, the goal every year is to not be super stressed out and to enjoy Christmas and maybe actually knit on like my Advent project and things like that, and not just be like, I can't even touch that, I can't think about that. I'm so focused on Christmas presents that I can't knit for myself, and I can't knit anything like festive. That's no fun. So I'm really going to try and get that done before the end of October, and then start on a couple other things. But I have this in one of the cutest bags I own. This is from a company that unfortunately no longer makes bags because the maker passed away. He was a local knitter, and he used to work at the Sow's Ear, which is a yarn shop in Verona, Wisconsin, which is pretty close to Madison. And we used to sell those at Knit Circus, but he passed away a little while ago, and unfortunately that means no more of his beautiful bags. But I was lucky enough to have that one gifted to me a couple years ago, so I treasure that one. Okay, so my second work in progress is in my Ultimate Autumn bag. This one will forever be my favorite autumn bag to knit out of. Just makes me so happy. And these are my socks I showed you last week out of Plank & Stella Autumn Crisp sock yarn. This is a 75/25, I think. I don't think I have the tag anymore, but I'm pretty sure it's a 75/25. And I am getting pretty far on the first sock only. Like I said, I worked so much on Ronan's sweater, my nephew's sweater, that I didn't do a whole lot of knitting on this sock. I did take it with me this weekend. I went on Saturday night, and then yesterday on Sunday I went to my in-laws to spend some time on their farm and spend some time with Seaver because he was there, and I did get some knitting done. I did the heel and then part of the leg yesterday. So yeah, so I'm doing toe-up socks. I cast on 56 stitches because I have very small feet. I use a size US 1 2.25 millimeter, and I have them on Addy Rockets. These are my favorite sock needles. Absolute favorites. And I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, which also is my absolute favorite, both to knit and to wear. I think this heel fits me better than like any heel I've ever tried. Granted, I've only done like 2 or 3 different heels. 3 different heels. No, I also tried this sweet tomato heel a long time ago, but I didn't like that one as much. But Fish Lips Kiss, that's where it's at. And I like how it sort of striped a little bit when I was doing the heel. The rest of the sock, as you can see, it's sort of like flashing in these like diagonal chunks, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I had enough of it done last time to show you that, but yeah, I like how it's like just pieces of it. And this part's almost like micro striping, whereas this part's more variegated, and then, yeah, it's just so interesting. So I have a progress keeper on there, my little apple cider donut from the Gnome Knitter. I got this last autumn, I believe. She had made these and they sold out in like minutes, and by the time I got on her website they were completely gone. So she did a pre-order and I snatched one. They're so cute. And apple cider donuts are like one of my favorite things in the entire world. We have a really awesome apple orchard that I grew up going to. They have the best donuts I've ever tasted. They're great like after a few days, like they're still really good. But you can go there and get them freshly baked. They have like a little I don't want to say cafe, but kind of a little area underneath their big barn where they have all the apples and lots of fun things you can buy. They have like a store in this really big barn, and then underneath they have an area where you can like buy food and apple cider, and you can sit at these tables and just relax. And yeah, you can buy a freshly made like that day, like hot donut, and it's like crispy on the outside and warm and fluffy on the inside. Oh my god, it's so good. So if you guys are in the northeastern Illinois area, Edwards Apple Orchard, it's the best. And there are 2 locations, I think. The original one, I can't remember, it's like outside Belvedere. I forget what the actual address is. But oh, it's so good. And they have the best like play area. It doesn't cost any money. Some apple orchards and like autumn play, like they charge you to like go in and like play in the play areas and stuff. Edwards doesn't, at least not that I know of. I hope they don't. They haven't ever. So you can, like, the kids can play on these really cool play areas. I mean, I've been, like I said, I've been going there since I was probably like 3 or 4 years old. They have this like big like pirate ship that you can play on, and this wooden train, and it's just so cool. We brought my nephew there last year for the first time, and he had a blast. And we went on a Monday, which was my day off last year, and nobody was there. It was the best, because if you go on a weekend, there's lines out the door. It's so crowded because it's just an amazing. They have like live music and food that you can buy, and it's an amazing place to go in the fall time, but it's very popular and very busy. So if you can, go on a weekday because you will have the whole place to yourself. He was the only kid playing there, and he had a blast just like playing pretend. My sister and I got to like run around with him, and we got to eat donuts and drink cider, and it was the best. So we're gonna hopefully go again this year on a Monday, because I do occasionally still have Mondays off, as you can tell. But anyway, wow, that was like a super long tangent about apple cider donuts. But you needed to know. And you're welcome if you end up going there. So last thing about this sock is that the pattern, the texture pattern I'm using on it is my Birds and Buds sock pattern. So this just has a really cute, I don't know if it's gonna, here, let's see if it focuses. It has a really nice sort of slip stitch pattern. Oh, there you can see it a little bit. Let me turn it that way. It's so easy to do, so easy to memorize, and it's addicting. It makes the socks go so fast. It's just that little bit of subtle texture on your foot. This is my 4th pair. of birch and bud socks. I absolutely love doing this pattern, and like I said, it's so simple, it's mindless, and it's my go-to now. I really should branch out again and do more patterns. Do a couple of my other patterns over again, but I don't want to. I love that one. Yeah, so hopefully I'm just gonna keep plugging away on those. I do have a couple other like fall colorways, like sock colorways that I want to knit with, that I'm hoping to get to before I really shift into like Christmassy feeling like mode. But yeah, I think like most of November I'm still gonna be in like the autumnal mode because Thanksgiving in the US isn't until the end of November this year. So I'm not promising that I'm gonna not put my Christmas tree up or any Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving, because then I only have like 25 days to enjoy them. And I really like to enjoy Christmas, but I'm going to wait as long as I possibly can, which is probably gonna be to like the middle of November. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully finish those and then get another pair of autumn socks knit. But I also have plans to knit my sister a pair of socks. I talked about this a little bit last time, and I think I decided for sure that I'm going to be knitting her pair of socks out of the Christmas at Hogwarts 2018 yarn from a homespun house. I got this yarn last year, obviously. It's 2018. And I think it's beautiful. Those like purples and speckles. It's got a little bit of gold there. So yeah, but I think as much as I like this yarn, I think my sister is going to love it. She loves purples. And this just has a really cool combination of colors, I think, that she would really, really like. Plus it's an 80/20 merino nylon, so it's going to be super, super soft. And yeah, and lovely. This will be our first pair of hand knit socks. I think they will be a Christmas present, and I'm planning on doing my fairy tree sock pattern, which has a couple cables running up the sides and then like a texture in the middle. And those were inspired by some kind of fairy stories from Ireland that I heard from Grace of Babel's Traveling Yarns podcast. And it really inspired me to, I don't know, come up with, I think that was my first sock design, actually, my first sock pattern. And I really, really loved it. I think I knit 2 pairs of those at the time. And yeah, I think it would be the perfect pattern for her because she is pretty much obsessed with Irish culture and Ireland. They just got back from their 3rd trip to Ireland. They were there for 2 weeks in September, so they brought their son this time, so it was his first time going and their 3rd time. And yeah, I don't think that her love and admiration for Ireland is going to end anytime soon, so it just feels like the right sock pattern to knit for her, and I want to knit them again, so it works for me too. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe start on those, I don't know, sometime hopefully soon. I don't think it'll take me too long, and I just have to get her foot measurements because I haven't knit a pair for her yet. I think, yeah, her feet are a little bit longer than mine, but I don't want to just like guess. So she knows that I've been talking about knitting her some socks, so if I measure her foot, it's not going to be a big deal. Yeah, so I guess that was kind of my dream knitting, or my like next project. I wanted to show you the yarn because I did mention it last week, that I was hoping to knit her first pair of hand knit socks. But now I will show you a couple of the things I picked up over the last 2 weeks. These both happened this past weekend, which again was the shop hop. We had a very, very busy shop hop on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We almost sold out of our, actually we did sell out of the new Christmas color that we put out. It was this beautiful cream to red gradient, and I knew it was going to be super popular. It was a limited edition. Now I feel a little guilty because I did buy one before it wasn't before it went online or before it was in our shop, but it was before our newsletter went out, which when the newsletter goes out, people scramble for the yarn that we put on there. So we did put this in the newsletter on Friday, and it sold like immediately. And then of course with the shop hop, people coming into the shop, they had seen it online as well, and they snagged a skein too. But Thursday night before the shop hop started, I bought myself a cake. And it was a limited edition yarn. We are thinking about doing another run of this because it was so popular, but it's so difficult to get the red totally set. Reds and blues are really, really hard, and we don't want to send any yarn out into the world that is not completely color fast. So this is completely color fast, though you do only want to wash it in cold water if you have a skein of this, because with that cream, that beautiful cream in there, you don't want any of the red kind of, you know, blending or bleeding into it. But yeah, so I did get a cake of this. I feel slightly selfish, but at the same time, like, I bought it, so it's not like I just took it home. But still, I needed this, and I bought it on our Breathtaking BFL base, which I know that's completely blowing out because of the light, but maybe you can see it a little bit. Breathtaking BFL, it's 100% BFL wool, yes, 410 yards, and it's a fingering weight, and it's called Old Saint Nick. That's the name of the colorway. So Christmassy and beautiful and just like classy. I think it's just beautiful. I have images in my head of a really long cowl, that like a tube cowl that would sort of like scrunch down and have like, I want to put like the white down here and have it go up to the red and just have it like all kind of scrunched together on my neck. And I think, yeah, that is going to be so much fun. So that's the only yarn I got in the last 2 weeks, which is really, really good. I'm so proud of myself. Trying really hard to not buy yarn because we are trying to save up to buy a house. That's our main goal. And houses are expensive, you guys. Especially in the Madison area. I know it's not as expensive as some places in this country or the world, but yeah, buying a house in the Madison area, the amount of money you have to have for a down payment, oh my goodness. We're saving. We've got quite a bit set aside, but it is not enough. So doing all I can to save money, try not to buy too much, like, unnecessary stuff. My yarn budget, yeah, yarn and notions and things like that is really one of the only things I spend money on, like, for myself, like, besides bills and gas and groceries. I do indulge in some yarn sometimes, but I'm trying really hard to be good and only buy yarn if it's absolutely necessary. So the other thing I got over the shop hop weekend, we had 2 pop-up shops over the weekend, one on Friday and one on Saturday. I did get a couple things from the one on Saturday. She does like hand-stamped cards and bags. She actually designs and cuts out the stamp on like rubber, which is so much fun. We're actually having a class coming up in December with her. She's going to show you how to cut out stamps and do your own custom stamp, which is so cool. That listing isn't up yet, but it will be by the end of this week. It's already Monday. By the end of this week, that listing will be up as well at Knit Circus. But I did get so I got some cards from her, and her shop name is Chickaditty Art or something like that. She does have an Etsy account, so you can go on there. And then I got this really, really cute bag from Pointel Design, and Don't know if you can see that. Kind of. There you go. Pointel Design. She does have an Etsy account, but I don't know if she has very much. She has a website on here though. It's pointeldesign.com. And she said she had an Etsy account, but she didn't have much listed on there. So I don't know if maybe pointeldesign.com is just like listing where she's gonna be at like art shows and stuff. But she sells beautiful bags, she sells accessories and ready to wear knits. So like fingerless mitts and hats. If you don't gift knit but you still want to get someone a really amazing like hand knit object, it's perfect for that. So go on her website and see where she's gonna be. And I got this amazing Notions bag. It's not really a Notions bag, it's big enough for like to be like a project bag, but it has this really pretty chartreuse fabric on the inside, and this fabric just was so calming to me. It was almost like, it reminded me of like an herb garden, or I don't know, just I could feel the stress melting away just looking at it. I don't know, that sounds weird, but I just love it. And she did have a bigger one. I was toying with the idea of getting the bigger one. This was like the medium size, but while I was toying with the idea, somebody else who is a customer came in and snatched it up. So I didn't get a chance to get the bigger project bag, but this one will be fine. This will be able to hold a hat, pair of socks, mittens, which I've been really craving knitting mittens lately, and I don't know why. I haven't knit mittens in a long time, and I think it would be so much fun. But yeah, it'd be perfect size for that, and I love how well made it is. I love how like heavy duty the zipper is on the top, and like you just know that's not gonna break. It's really, really well sewn, and it has like kind of a gusset on the bottom, so it can hold more stuff. But yeah, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that is about all that I have to show you this week. Not as much as last time, of course, because only 2 weeks have passed and not like a month and a half. But I do have a knit along I want to talk to you about. I mentioned it last podcast episode, and it is in full swing. So if you want to get involved, please do. The main premise is that you knit one of my shawls. That doesn't really narrow it down. I have quite a few shawls out on Ravelry. This specific one was to knit either the Ode to Autumn shawl, or two of my new shawls, which is the Riverbank shawl or the Harvest shawl. The Harvest shawl just came out last week, and I showed you guys the whole. It's not with me anymore. It's at Knit Circus right now because it was knit out of Driftless DK, which is our local base. It was locally milled and sourced, and then here in Wisconsin, and then dyed by us in Madison. So really, really cool yarn. Awesome to work with. It was so much fun to knit with. And I knit it out of 4 colors. So you can check out the Ravelry listing for more information on how much yarn you need for that if you want to get the Knit Circus yarn. We don't have any like kits put together yet, but that might be coming. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so you can go on there and see how much yarn you need for that. All of those shawls are available for purchase on Ravelry. And yeah, it's basically knit one of those shawls by the beginning of December, and you don't have to finish to be entered for a prize. So you can just go on Ravelry and post your progress, post the yarn that you're using, comment on other people's projects, and you can be entered. So the more that you interact, the more you're involved, the more chances you have to win a prize. And we do have a prize coming. I'm very excited about. I'll show you that when it comes. And I'm gonna maybe put together a couple other things Maybe we'll have 2 prizes this time. Who knows? That would be so exciting. If anybody else wants to donate prizes, if you're a maker, or you just have something you think would go well for this knit along, then you can get in contact with me, and I would be more than willing to accept that. Thank you. Yeah, but otherwise it's just kind of a good chance to get a couple DK, they're all 3 DK weight, so kind of some cozy shawls ready for the winter weather, ready for colder temperatures. So yeah, please get involved with that, and I can't wait to see your progress. I think that's about it. Wow, only about 40 minutes, so that's awesome. I kept it pretty short. I did ramble a little bit about apple cider donuts and orchards, but oh well, it's the time of year for that. And otherwise, yeah, I'm so glad that I was able to podcast so soon. I'm hoping to sort of stay within the 2 to 3 weeks, kind of schedule for podcasting. And I'm so looking forward to having some time today on my day off to get some knitting done. So looking forward to it. So hopefully I get that sweater done and have some more progress to show you the next time. Thank you again for coming and watching. If you're a new viewer, I so appreciate your support. Reach out via Instagram, Ravelry, comment on the YouTube video below if you wanted to say something, say hello, whatever. Yeah, I'm just really grateful for everybody who comes, if you're coming back or if you're new. And yeah, I better quit while I'm ahead. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all very, very soon. Until then, please do things that make your heart happy. Be kind to one another. Spread love. I'll be doing the same, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.